1580 103.3 WPKY Coffee Talk is on the air. Morning conversations about things of interest to you. If you'd like to be a guest on Coffee Talk, just email us your information at WPKYonline@gmail.com. We're proud to call Caldwell County home. WPKY.
It is 34 right now. It's supposed to get down to 33. 8:10 is our time. So glad you could join us this morning. We have some guests, but first I want to talk about what's coming up tomorrow, okay? The Western Kentucky Polar Plunge is tomorrow. Now let me say this. Judge Executive Curling, if you're listening, this is for you. We have had an anonymous donor tell me that if they will give $100 if you will jump. So come on, I'm doing it for 100. That was my goal, and I'm going in. So come on, Judge, you can do this. You can jump with us. Mayor Jim Seibert is going in the water. He said if we could get 300 that he would go in. We have already met that goal. So another $100 that'll give us $500 total that we're going to collect for Special Olympics, and 40% of what we collect, and that's all of Caldwell County. I'm on a team, the Party Animals. I can't tell you how much the rest of my team has got, but just here at WPKY, if we can get that other $100, we will have $500 collected or more for Special Olympics. So Larry, come on, you can do this. So, all right, there you go. Anonymous donor already told me if you'll get in the water, we'll do this. All right, now I want to talk this morning to our guest, Heather Lancaster. She's the executive director at Sanctuary, which is a place for people who are going through some domestic violence. Good morning, Heather.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
And I'm glad you're here because I think this is a topic we really need to discuss. We need to know that there's a place to go for this subject. So
sure.
Tell me about the facility.
Sure. Sanctuary Inc. is a place for men, women, children to come to if they have been in a situation in relation to domestic violence, sexual assault. We are headquartered in Christian County, but we serve the 9 counties to include Trigg County, Todd County, Caldwell County, and others as well. And so while we are headquartered in Christian County, we do have facilities across the 9 counties that we will meet with victims and provide various services. Our services do include therapy, case management. We have an excellent children's program. We provide emergency shelter, so those who are fleeing from a domestic violence situation and do need somewhere to come that is safe, our doors are open. We are a safe place and we are confidential. This is a very personal thing that happens, and it's important to note that this is nobody's fault. This is something that can happen, and it can happen to anyone at any time. So we are 24/7. I do want to add that as well. And we also have a crisis hotline that can be accessed.
Heather, so you're the executive director. How long have you been working there?
I am coming up on my 1-year anniversary in March.
Okay. All right. What got you interested in, a job in this capacity?
Sure. It's always been my passion to want to serve and help others, and specifically this cause is something that's just very near and dear to my heart. And so having the opportunity to serve in this capacity, it's a great thing when you can work and fulfill your passion and help so many that are just in true need. And that's what we get to do every day, myself and the 33 staff members that we have providing the various services that we offer.
What all services are offered?
Sure. We have on staff with us 2 therapists. They are in Christian County, but they travel to the different counties. They are trained. They have completed their education credentials to provide that level of therapy. They are trauma informed and client centered. We have case managers who work with each individual on establishing goals, not necessarily goals that you and I have for that person, but that person to make their own choices and think, okay, this is what I want for me. And then Sanctuary can provide and help provide the resources so that they can maybe meet that goal. For some people, it may be a goal that they want to find their own place because they're really just getting out of this situation. They've got children. They need to find a home of their own away from their perpetrator. And we will help them to locate a home and even help rental assistance, utility bill assistance, if that is a need, just so that they can have a safe place of their own. For some, it may be that they are looking to gain some financial independence because maybe control over the finances wasn't something that they were privy to in their relationship. So teaching them budgeting skills, just basic use of credit card, debit card, checking accounts, those are all skill sets that are needed to be successful and sustainable in an independent living situation. But it could be, too, that the person who's just been through so much over so many maybe years, months of time is just looking to just get a good night's rest because of what they've been through. They've just not had that. And so just to find that peace and that healing through what they've experienced, we are here for that as well. And so, again, the goals aren't decided by us. They're decided by those seeking the help. And it's a big step coming to Sanctuary. It's a really big thing to say, I'm turning away from that, because for some people it's all they've ever known. And so it's taking a leap of faith and trusting that things can be better, and they will be better.
So you have therapists available?
Yes.
And are there any requirements? I mean, if I need help and I go to Sanctuary and I say, I just don't know where to turn. I've heard of you and I need some help. What are you going to ask of me?
Sure. Just to show up, just to come. It's something you've got to come to terms with yourself in being able to share that you're here for the help. But if you can get to that step, then Sanctuary is open arms, and we will gladly work with you and put you in contact with a caring staff member that can sit down with you. Maybe you're not at a point where you're ready to leave the situation, you're on the fence. Situations aren't cookie cutter. Everyone's situation looks different. But if it's not something you're quite sure you want to, or you're ready to leave, then we have staff members who will safety plan with the individual to help them see that this is the healthy way, the safe way to go about leaving. These are the steps that maybe you could take. So really just having those conversations are really important. We also have court advocates because a lot of times domestic violence cases, are brought to that legal level, and people who have faced abuse have to face their perpetrators in court, maybe because they filed an EPO and they're hoping the judge will grant the DVO, domestic violence order, for them. That's a very intimidating process. Somebody who's been through so much to have to now see this person in court, not so sure what's going to come of the decision that the judge makes. And so to have a court advocate present with the victim makes all the difference. Not per se holding their hand, but really holding their hand through the process of just explaining what the language is. Not all of us are up on those legal terms, and so it's nice to have somebody that can just really break it down for them and, again, remind them that they're not alone and that they're safe and that we're here for them if they need counsel.
And Heather, you said something about assisting with housing. Do you have a shelter there? Is there, okay.
Yes, we do have our emergency shelter. That's where we're headquartered in Christian County. We've got several rooms available. It's a temporary living situation that we offer. But again, everyone's situation is different, so we assess the situation and work with the individual on finding and establishing goals so that they can move eventually into an independent housing situation, because we are very limited in space. But if housing is the goal of the client, then we do have a housing coordinator on staff who works with the landlords in the 9-county area, and we can work out housing for that individual to move into.
Do you have a program that, I would think, and this is just me guessing because I haven't had to go through this myself, but is it hard for someone to separate from that history, even though they've made that step to come to you, that first step? Is it hard for them to stay on that path?
Yes, that's a great question. A lot of times, Misty, yes, it is hard. Statistics show us that it takes between 6 and 10 times for someone to leave their perpetrator. It's important to note that the services we offer are for those who have been in an intimate relationship type. So when the abuse happens, it's more about power and control. And we know that abuse isn't just physical, but it can be verbal abuse, emotional abuse, manipulation, blackmail. It can be really there's so many different levels, and so it's just important for us to recognize that as a society, that you may not see it on the outside, but someone can hurt, and the pain is so deep. They have a lot to say, and Sanctuary gives them a voice to come and talk, and again, be reminded that this is not your fault in any way, and we're here to help you.
And if you feel that the victim is headed down the path of, okay, I'm going to go back, then do you have a something in place to say, okay, this is what we need to do to see if we can get this victim to stay on the path of nonviolence?
Yes, exactly. Yes. We really want to work with the individual, but the individual really needs to set those goals, and we need to come up with that plan to stick to the strategies of how we want to accomplish those goals. But having the resources that Sanctuary does, we can really work to make and see that happens. It's not always just that individual, the adult. It's the children that get brought into this mix as well, and it's a cycle. And so it's something that we remind a lot of times individuals with children that while you're making these decisions, you're also making decisions that affect your children, and really getting them to look at it through that lens. And there's just so much to consider in that moment. There's so many emotions on high, and it takes somebody who is skilled, somebody who's caring in that profession to share that perspective with a victim and a survivor of domestic violence, that this is a cycle. Children see what they see. They don't unsee it. And unfortunately, if we don't stop it, there could be some repeat of these actions in their futures. And so we, again, I did mention that we had the children's program. We have a child advocate on staff who will work with children and provide that therapy for them as well.
What are some of the reasons that a victim would decide, hey, I need to go back to that bad situation?
A lot of time you see it's because of the lack of resources. They've been perhaps some controlled for so long that they don't necessarily know how to make choices and decisions on their own. And so they need somebody to do that for them because that's what they've known for so long. So that's what they long for. And it's the familiarity. You come to Sanctuary and it's unfamiliar. Yes, you've made that right decision. You're here to get help, but it's a process. And unfortunately, it's not like an on and off light switch. It takes time, and and patience and reminders that you can do this, you have this, and we have that support for each other. That's what we do at Sanctuary, is we empower women, but it does take time for that to happen. Financial reasons, a lot of times, if they don't have the income that they once were used to having, that might be another draw. This is something we're really excited to share. Last year, we actually launched our new pet protection program. There's a lot of hesitation out there from people who have pets that don't want to leave because their pet may not have a place to go. And unfortunately, the pet can be caught up in the abuse and really just be used as that retaliation. And it's really sad, Pets are like our children, and you want to take care of them. You want to make sure they have a safe place to go. And while Sanctuary doesn't offer a kennel facility, we do have a wonderful partnership that was just created last year with at an off-site location where we will accept pets for an indefinite amount of time, as long as the individual is on that path to sustaining an independent life away from their perpetrator. We will take the pet and make sure it's groomed, make sure it's fed and cared for. So that's just one less thing they have to worry about.
Wow, that's amazing.
And a lot of people don't think about that, right? And it was brought to our attention by a former client of ours, and why not? Why wouldn't we do this? So, yeah, we launched it. We're glad to do it, and we've had several pets come through the program.
Yeah, you saw the surprised look on my face when you said that. That was not even in my radar at all, anywhere, to think that a pet would be a deterrent for someone to leave. So.
Sure. Also, I mentioned the cost, the financial resources that one might have. If it's perhaps a case that's brought to the court levels, they may not have the money if it's a divorce that they may be going through. And one of the things we share as a referral is for our clients is that legal aid assistance is available. So we have a wonderful partnership with legal aid, and starting soon we're going to have an attorney once a week come to our facility to offer free legal services. Because again, it's a very intimidating process for some if you don't understand the legal realm, and a lot of us don't unless we've had to walk in those shoes. So we have our court advocates, but we'll also have an attorney to be on site and share legal advice. And they're nonprofit, they're free. 100% of our services are free as well.
Wow. Okay. Heather, I appreciate you coming in today. What is the number to call should we need some help from Sanctuary?
Sure. It's 24/7 hotline. Call us anytime, any day of the week. The number is 1-800-844-000.
And what's the address?
We actually prefer that you call, and we can give you directions to the facility. You can also look us up online. We do have a website, and it shares more about all of the services that we provide.
Okay. What's the web address?
It's www.sanctuaryinc.com.
All right. Heather Lancaster, Executive Director of Sanctuary, thank you so much.
Thank you, Misty, for having me.
Fox tonight.
You are wrongfully convicted of first-degree murder.
That's correct.
From the executive producer of Empire.
The real murderer is still out there.
Free the innocent. Find the guilty.
No matter who it is, I'll find them.
Kelsey Grammer stars.
I still believe you were guilty.
The series premiere you can't miss.
What are you hiding?
Proven Innocent. Premieres after a special 1-hour
payments. Lease to own with no money down and no payment until March 1st. Plus save on living rooms, a Philips TV bundle, or a Samsung laundry pair with no credit needed and free delivery and setup. Now through Monday, visit a participating store or Aaron's.com. With these offers, we all win during Aaron's President's Day weekend event. And most stores open on Sundays. Transaction advertised as a rental purchase agreement. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Hi, Caldwell County. I'm Allie Coleman with First Southern National Bank, and I'm ready to service your next loan. Whether you're wanting to build your first home, buy an investment property, or add square footage for your growing family, we can tailor a solution just for you. Stop by my office at 101 West Washington Street in Princeton or give me a call at 270-365-3545 to apply today. First Southern National Bank, Equal Housing Lender, Federal Registry 409424, NMLS 1002990.
What does your morning sound like?